If you want to check out the whole show, hit the link here at the bottom of the screen, available exclusively on odds.com. But most importantly, get paid in full. And now we move on to our last game on the board. Great job, you guys. Thank you to everybody in the chat for rolling with us. A great job by our experts. We get to the Lending Tree Bowl. Western Kentucky Hilltoppers 5-6 on the season versus Georgia State Panthers. We're at Ladd-Peebles Stadium in Mobile, Alabama. We have a total of 51.5. There is a 52.5 on the board here at these licensed books in America. And we have a spread sitting at 4 or 4.5, Georgia State being favored. Western Kentucky finished their season strong by winning 3 straight. On the season, they averaged just 18.8 points and 290.9 yards a game. Meek offense. But their offense sure came to life over their last 2 games. A 38-21 home win over Florida International. That perfect contrarian bet for Big Boss. That total was so low. And then a 37-19 win at Charlotte. Senior quarterback Terrell Pigram was the difference. And I don't know why he got off to such a bad start. But he got better as the season went on. Still completed just 58.3% of his passes for 1,423 yards, 9 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He also ran for 328 yards. He's a good quarterback. And Raymond Reichart, I will definitely do a recap of everybody's action contest because we're in a contest together. Running back Gage Walker ran 135 times for 614 yards, 2 touchdowns. Now, Pigram is going to have some issues. This Western Kentucky offense started rolling the last 2 games, but 2 of their top receivers are dealing with injuries. And I say 2 of their top 4 because their stats, and nobody caught for more than about 350 yards. I don't have the number in front of me. But wide receiver Xavier Lane, he is their leading receiver. He's dealing with an undefined ailment. And the status for the Lending Tree Bowl versus Georgia State is uncertain. And then their 4th from a statistical standpoint, 4th best receiver, Dayton Wade, hampered with an undetermined injury. So we have an undefined ailment and an undetermined injury. So both are questionable. Their defense was strong all year, allowing 24.1 points per game, just 336.3 yards. Georgia State finished the season by winning 3 of 4. They were last seen in a 30-24 win over Georgia Southern. They're a healthy squad. They gained 417.7 yards per game, and they put up 32.7 points per game. And they're a lot of fun to watch. And it's 6'5" freshman Cornelius Brown, the 4th, because he tries to do too much, man. He's all over the field. He doesn't slide. He's taking huge risks, and I enjoy watching him play. He completed 59.1% of his passes for 2,046 yards, 14 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Wide receiver Sam Pinckney caught 44 passes for 753 yards and 6 touchdowns. They have 2 running backs that carry the ball. Destin Coates ran 143 times for 652 yards, 6 touchdowns. Tucker Gregg ran 82 times for 441 yards, 6 touchdowns. Their defense improved as the season went on. It was awful to start the year, but it got better and better. They're led by Jordan Strawn, their linebacker, 9 sacks to go along with 37 tackles. They did allow 424.3 yards and 32.9 points per game, but they got better as the season went on. The Lending Tree Bowl, John Ryan, Western Kentucky, Georgia State. Last game on the card. Take it away.
Well, this is a matchup of all the games we've analyzed tonight. These teams are perfectly even. Their power ratings are even. Their strength of schedule on the opponents is 28 for each of them. So that that's right around that average NCAA opponent strength of schedule. And my power ratings would have Western Kentucky favored by 1. So that kind of makes me scratch my head, leaning on Western Kentucky here. And it is a game I have to, be honest here too, that I would probably pass on because I'm a little leery of taking Western Kentucky, but that's who I'm on for this contest. Western Kentucky is 14-3 in non-home games, so that'd be road games and neutral sites after covering the spread in 2 out of their 3 games. They're 26-11 after 2 or more consecutive wins against the spread. 28-12 in non-home games after a game where they committed 1 or fewer turnovers. And the list goes on. And then there's leave you with one little system here. Actually, there is no system on this, but there is a good one here I'll leave you with for the under. And this is a good one. This is 83%, last 10 seasons, not one losing record in any of the seasons. Play under with neutral field teams where the total is between 47.5 and 54 points in a game involving two teams where their yards per game totals is less than 50 yards per game. So in other words, it could be one team could be 410, the other team 450. As long as that differential is 50 or less, you got the matchup. And that makes a lot of sense to me. And in fact, I'm going to change my pick, Jimmy. I'm going with the under in this game. Because if you think about it, two even teams, how does the game usually unfold? Nobody wants to make a mistake deep in their territory and give a short field to an opponent where both coaches know that they're equals. It's reminds me of that book, Sun Tzu, The Art of War. If your opponent is equal.
Under.
So anyway, that's my play. The under
at minus 109. You get the extra point at DraftKings and BetMGM. I like that look. That look makes sense. Let's lock in John Ryan under 52.5 minus 109, and that is available. That just is no longer available. But there is still one at BetMGM that just left. BetMGM still hanging at 52.5, so we'll give you that. Just a cent more juice, minus 110 at BetMGM. I hadn't finished. If you finish writing it, you get it. I hadn't finished writing it, so it'll cost you an extra cent. Okay, very interesting take on the under there. Let's move over to DJ Big Boss, Western Kentucky, Georgia State.
I was initially leaning under too with Georgia State run game. The defense over there at the Hilltoppers should keep it looks like a really sought out under game, but Big Ragoon knows me best. When two teams line up that's too similar, what do? We jump the other way. So this thing right here, it's low number right here with 52. And I'm gonna jump the other way. I'm gonna take it. It's a bowl game. You leave it all on the field. Just too many different outcomes that can allow it to go over in a situation like this. If this was like a conference championship, or if this was a meaningful game in the sense that we want to play tough and fight to the end. In these bowl games, like John Ryan said earlier, you don't know which team comes to do what. You know what I mean? So in this one right here, I'm going to lean on the over side, and I'm going to take the over.
The over for DJ Big Boss, over 51.5 minus 106 at FanDuel. Let's go to the Big Ragu. Last game on the card. Great job, you guys. Western Kentucky, Georgia State.
I want to know what the team total is for Georgia State.
Georgia State team total is 28.5. It's 28.5, but it's heavily juiced to the under, so you get a plus 100 if you want the over.
What's the under juiced to?
Minus 138.
Oh man. Okay. Well, I was thinking Georgia State run heavy. Western Kentucky's defense is tightened up. Even though we have Western Kentucky, the last couple of games have scored some points. And Georgia usually averages around 32, 33 points a game and giving up like 25, 26 points a game for their competition. Oh, no, they're giving up the same, basically. So if you like Georgia State, I think it bodes well to the over. And if you like Kentucky, you got to look towards the under here, especially on that number there. But what is the question mark here is what's Western Kentucky going to do for points? Are they going to have their typical 17, 19, 20-point game, or are they going to, play like they did the last couple games? And that bodes well for them because, like I say, Georgia State's defense will give up some points here. So, you know what? I'm going to do something totally different here. What's the team total on Western Kentucky?
Western Kentucky team total at Bet365 right now is 23.5 minus 120 on each side.
All right, give me that. Give me the over on Western Kentucky. We're going to say they're going to show up because Georgia State's defense is going to yield them some points here. So we're going to take over the 20. You said 23 and a half?
23 and a half.
That's the play. Over 23 and a half, Western Kentucky.
Extremely interesting. Extremely interesting breakdown. Oh God, I feel like
and give me the points too with with Western Kentucky.
that's where I was leaning. I just feel like Western Kentucky can keep this close enough.
Yeah.
Can keep
And
this
if they keep it close, you never know. You might see an overtime game, and that might push the total over too.
Plus 4.5 is slightly juiced. The 4s are not, obviously, but the 4.5s are minus 114. But I'm going to move on that as well. So we have Western Kentucky plus 4.5 minus 114. And I will also be on Western Kentucky plus 4.5 at minus 114.